What's going on, everyone? In today's BookMine video, Victor Gallegos and I are going to tell you what makes BookMine so special because people are always asking us who haven't ever tried software out, like, why would I use it? Why is it this expensive? And there's a number of other online book arbitrage sourcing softwares that people are actively using and they want to know why would I use BookMine? How is BookMine any different? To us, is very, very obvious. We're not even like comparable to those other softwares. There's so much more that we provide, but we want to put it to rest and share with you exactly, what you're getting with BookMine and why it's so much better. So if you're on the fence or you're someone who's like, not really sure how it's any different, well, let's tell you why. So what's going on, Victor?
What's up, Joji? Yeah, we created this software like a year ago, right? To try to help out booksellers source faster, source more efficiently, more intelligently. And I think we've done that. And we constantly try to add more features, more updates to it. And I definitely think with you that, like you said, I think our software is definitely superior as far as how intelligent it is.
Yeah. So we got a long list. Let's get started. The first thing is that other softwares are really only going to look at a couple of data points that are very basic, and that's simply to look at today's price and look at, the other prices on Amazon, and that's about it. So, like, they'll see, oh, there's one book that's, maybe at $45 and the next copy is at $80. So, and essentially, they don't look at any other data other than just that. And so, why would that be flawed, Victor?
Yeah, they have like 2 price points, right? Sometimes they'll, like, find a book at, on Thrift Books or something like that, and they're like, "Okay, well, this book at Thrift Books is $8, and on Amazon, it's $30. So, okay, that has to be really good." Or they'll go on eBay and find that same book again for, like, $10, and they can sell it for, like, 40, and so or see that they think they can sell it for 40, and so these are, like, the only 2 things that they look at, where they can buy it on another website or a different store versus where they believe they can sell it on Amazon. And where this is flawed is that who knows whether or not you can actually sell it for $40 without looking at the data behind that $40 point? Because it's just a snapshot as of today, right? That $40 price point doesn't mean that you're going to be able to sell it for $40. It just happens to be $40 now, and who knows if it's selling. So you really have to go in and dig into the keeper data to figure that out. And none of these other software programs or none of these other, like, people altogether are actually looking in and digging in past that point to see whether or not your product is actually selling at that higher price point. And so that's one of the best things that BookMine does is it only gathers data is if that product is actually, or if that book is actually selling at that price point. If it is, it gets it and then it actually puts it in as actual real data. But if it's not, then it just deletes it. It takes out that information and does not include it in its calculations of whether or not that book is actually valued at that price.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting is other softwares will compare the current price in Amazon to the buy box use price, which again is inherently odd. Again, because you can list a book on Amazon for whatever price you want. It doesn't mean that it's actually worth that, and that's inherently where the flaws. And so with BookMine, we're actually looking at keep a date. We're actually looking at historical sales, and we realize that in order to know whether or not a book is undervalued, you have to know what has it sold for in the past. Not just what are the current prices today. Like you actually need to know if today's price is 25. Well, has the book actually been selling for 45 in the past? And if so, okay, then the book's undervalued. And so that's what BookMine tries to do is establish an intrinsic value, establish a selling range with which a book is actually worth. And I cannot understand how important that is. I mean, that's literally the entire essence of this business model of reselling books, which is you need to know, is there a margin between what you can buy the book for versus what it historically sells for?
Yeah, I'd say that, like, maybe there's like level one, and I'd say that's level one, right? Going from what the today's price is versus what you can buy it for in a different store, right? That's the only comparison some software companies have. But another maybe like level two would be, well, I'll give you the 30-day average. Well, at least they're trying. They're at least trying to get to an intrinsic value. Okay, well, yeah, the 30-day average for this price is a little bit higher than it is today. So at least you did that. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the intrinsic value of the book, because maybe for the last 30 days it hasn't sold at all, right? So for us, we actually dig into the data. What matters to us, whether or not, or when the book actually sold, what it sold for. And those are the only data points we're gathering.
Yeah. And what this means is when you log on to BookMine, so much of the junk and the trash is just automatically filtered out for you. So it means that you're just going to be sourcing books in a much better place because all of those books are just automatically gone for you. So probably what I would say is the best feature of BookMine is we're trying to establish an intrinsic value of the book for you without you having to do any work. We do that by digging into the keep data, and then we are finding those books that truly are actually undervalued. We're not necessarily trying to exploit the buy box. We're just trying to find actually an amazing deal on a book so that you can go buy it and then you can go sell it and make money.
Yep.
Now, Victor and I were just talking recently about what makes our different types of book selling so unique. So, if you're not familiar, Victor is known for seasonal books. That would be high school books, college textbooks, Christmas books, and so on. Seasonal books, books that you can buy in the off season when they're dirt cheap, and then you can sell it for more money during the season. I'm more known for buying these longer tail books. That simply just means buying books that don't have too much demand, but actually hold very high values and just buying them when those become undervalued. And so, Victor, what is it that we kind of learned that's very similar about our two models, even though they are technically very different?
Yeah, because we're both really smart people, and I was trying to figure out why we both have different sourcing models and both are really successful at it, and why we chose to like continue to do these two, right? And I realized what we do differently than anyone else in the market is we're not time. Our what we're doing is not time sensitive. What I'm ready to source, I know what books to go and source, and I don't need to be on my computer, and try to buy whatever product or whatever book within like the next 30 seconds. Otherwise, that book is gone, right? Because the books that I'm trying to source are going to be there at that lower price point for maybe in the next month to month and a half. And so when I'm ready, that I'm just going to go and buy the book and then wait for the seasonality to kick in for the price to go up. So I'm not necessarily tied to my computer, which is really important. You're going to realize, 1, 2 years down the road, that if you don't change anything about your business, you're going to be kind of tied to your computer still, trying to buy that next book right before or right after it drops in price and try to beat everyone else, which is not really a fun game to play. And what Joji's doing is very almost identical to what I'm doing, just in a different way. He's found books that are reliably at a higher price point, but because there's just not that much demand, these price points actually can drop substantially. No, since nobody's tracking them, Joji can just show up on her any day he wants the next week and go and buy that book at a much lower price point, and then get the price point back up to where it historically been. And since it has a proven track record at that higher price point, it's going to sell. So we both have found a way to not be stuck on our computer, buy books whenever we want, like low stress, not time sensitive, and have been really successful at doing it. So I think it's by far the best way to do it. And that's why we both made BookMine together, right? We have BookMine Explorer, which really helps out what Joji's way is doing, right? The sourcing longer tail books. And just BookMine in general, because it has a lot of seasonality type of books in there. Have high school books, college books. So if you just want to source seasonally, matter of fact, right now in high school, you can just click on high school and all these books are the next month. You show up any day you want and buy all the high school list that's there. They're more than likely just still going to be sitting there. So yeah,
Victor and I always tell people who are starting out with book flipping just to go to keep the deals because you get to see whether or not you like book flipping, and it's also the cheapest way to do it. And keep the deals is great. The thing with keep the deals is it's kind of exhausting. It's kind of tiring because you're always looking for books that drop in price like right now, and that means you're really competing. In that moment, you're really trying to rush to be the first one added to cart. And again, it's kind of exhausting. So that's what Victor, mentions that we figured out a way so that you don't necessarily need to always be on the computer. I got to get the drop right now.
yes,
So when we built BookMine for us, and then the reason we did that is because people were always interested in Victor and Joji. How do you find these books? How do you source? And even though we'd explain to people how you could find those, a lot of people just still are like, I still don't understand. I don't get it. So we're like, all right, well, the easiest thing that we could do is just literally give them to you.
right.
That's what BookMine does.
Which is great.
BookMine
It does, right.
is going to give you those seasonal books. It's going to give you these long tail books that very, very few people are tracking. And so simple, all you got to do is show up on BookMine or BookMine Explorer, and you have tons of great, deals to choose from that are just heavily filtered down already, and you get to pick the cream of the crop, per se. Now, another really cool feature about BookMine, and this was really important to us, is that we wanted it to update every hour. And the reason why we wanted it to update every hour is because pretty much every other software out there was just updating the database like once a day. And so ironically, even though we just told you that a lot of these books that you can just show up and buy at any time, like there's something about, an hourly update, because you will pull in new books, but there's something about an hourly update that gets people, like, way more excited because of the fact that all this all this data is fresh. It literally is just pulled right there for you, and you get this feeling of like, "Alright, if I sit down, doesn't really matter what time it is, like, the books I'm looking at, they're going to be fresh, and I'm going to get the most recent prices." And so, that's something that's very different about BookMine, versus other softwares.
Yeah, good point, Joji. So our software updates every hour. So 24 times a day, which is much more than other softwares. Like so there's a few other ones that'll like send you a deal that just came up and then not update the database below it, right? And so that's really dirt cheap to like actually have as data because basically you update the one product on the top, but the other ones you don't. But our BookMine actually updates the entire database every hour. So every hour you're getting the freshest prices of all these books. Every book that's on BookMine, we went in and pulled that data as of right now, and what is the current price of that? And that's saying a lot, right? We decided to raise the bar. We decided to go above and beyond. And yeah, it's a ton of data costs, but we wanted to show that, and we wanted to give you guys the freshest data and make it just as simple as possible to buy these books.
Now, the next thing I think is really cool about BookMine is it's customizable, right? There's a lot of different filters that you can choose, and you can, simply just find books that, we have the profit meter, for example, that we added, which was a way for us to say, hey, these books have a bigger difference between what we think their intrinsic value is and what you could buy the book for at today. So that's just a super easy filter to use. Just you simply, click on the great button, which indicates that there's a huge difference between those two numbers, and there you go. All those books are shown for you right there. Or if you're somebody who's really interested in, let's say, finding, seasonal books, you could, simply just click on the high school button, and you get a bunch of high school books that you can
Yeah.
now source from. And if you do that multiple times throughout the day, every single day, I mean, you're going to find incredible books.
We wanted to give people options, right? There are people who are like, look, they've come from other businesses and they're happy with 20% ROI. I don't know, like, for us, that's kind of crazy, but in other businesses, they're happy with 6. So coming to 20%, they can't believe it. So they're like, yeah, I'm willing to buy every book on BookMine. And so don't filter anything. I'm going to buy every book. And then there are some people who are like, I want to buy a book that is 4 times more than I'm buying it for. And so we wanted to make it easy for everybody, right? So that's why we made the profit meter. There's so many options on BookMine. Once you try it out, you realize, oh wow, so there's the a used price slider, so I could only buy books that are $7 to me, shipped to me, or if you only want to buy books that'll say $80 or more, there's those options too. So there's a ton of different ways to source on BookMine, which is not available anywhere else. Like if you only wanted to source Christmas books, we have one click where you would just go click Christmas winter books, and you would only just source from those books. And it's just we just make it as easy as possible.
Yep. And just to wrap up this video, I think the final nail in the coffin is simply just our education. It's just our
Mm,
teaching materials. We've got the Bookmine Academy out, which is a 30 video, over 30 video course that teaches you everything that you need to know in order to be a successful bookseller, built by 2 very successful booksellers who, by the way, retired in our 30s because of,
uh,
our 9 to 5 jobs in addition to our book selling, uh, you know, jobs or, our book selling side hustle, right?
yeah.
So all the other softwares out there, sure, there might be some videos and some training videos, but often they're from months ago or years ago, and I don't think they're even close to the same level of quality. So I think that's the final nail in the coffin is like, we didn't just build a software, like we actually built a training program that even if you don't use our software, it's going to make you way better than you were before just because we've been doing this for 7, 8 years. I mean, we have so many mistakes under our belt. We've got so many successes under our belt. And so we figured out a way to teach people, the things that you need to know. And I think that's a huge plus about BookMine, our YouTube channel and BookMine Academy.
I mean, well put, Joji. Both me and you still sell books, right? You still sell books, Joji? Yeah, we both just sell books, right? So and we've been doing that for multiple years. And our on our training course, we could have actually charged money for it
Yeah.
because we've heard other people charging money for training courses, but we chose to put it out there for free so that people can actually start as a bookseller and then come to us after they actually start making some really good money. And we decided just to give that to the community. So yeah, we really believe that our training material is far superior than anything out there because we're actually doing it today. We're still booksellers. We're still buying and selling books.
And the last thing that we're gonna say before we head off here is that, we do get the occasional comment from someone that says, "BookMine is, extremely expensive," or it's a, overpriced software, right? And if you're somebody who's thinking that, you're simply not there yet, like, you're not understanding the power of it, and I guess what I mean by that is take the free educational material that we give you and go apply it and go make thousands of dollars. And then once you see that the free content that we provided makes you thousands of dollars and you have thousands of dollars of capital spend, then you come back to BookMine and then you understand that, wow, I'm paying actually a very, 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 very small fee for the potential of what you can actually build with what we're offering to you. So if you're somebody who's sitting there thinking that it's wildly expensive, it's just because you're not there yet. So just keep watching the videos, start, building your inventory, go to Keep a Deals. I guarantee you that just the free content will make you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, we made our product far superior, right? We decided to actually update our data once every hour instead of once every 24 hours, which makes our data cost 24 times more expensive than any other software out there, right? So just on that alone is one of the reasons why our software costs more money than other software programs out there. Also, we try to actually get to the intrinsic value of the book, and that costs a lot of money because we're needing to get a lot of data points from a lot of different sources to get that intrinsic value. So if we lost out on the intrinsic value and we didn't update it every 24 hours, maybe we could have offered this much cheaper, but then we'd have like a really inferior product. And yeah, so you would get this product for $40, never find any books. And so what's the value there? Right?
Yeah.
We wanted something really superior here where you could literally click on it for, give yourself 20 minutes and actually find enough books to source for the day. Because Joji, how many books should we source a day?
You should source at least 10 books a day. Like if you want to be a six-figure bookseller, you really only need to source about 10 books per day consistently. And with BookMine, once you understand how to read a keeper graph and once you really understand what kind of books you're looking for, you should be able to buy 10 books within a 30-minute session, like fairly easily, maybe even 15 minutes, honestly. If you're not there yet, it just means that you don't have enough, book sales under your belt, right? I mean, Victor and I sell thousands and thousands of books every year.
Yeah.
And at this point, now all those books are just coming right from BookMine. So really, it's just experience. It's making mistakes. It's learning from those mistakes. Obviously having successes, learning, what made those successes. But yeah, we're just incredibly excited to offer this to the community. And again, you don't need to buy it. You don't need to subscribe to BookMine. Go to, just use the free content, right? If you're really someone who's like, wow, these guys are trying to pull one over. Got for guys and gals. We're literally giving you like a multi-thousand-dollar course for free with the BookMine Academy.
Right.
Think about the alternative. People go to college, take out $100,000 in student loans and then graduate with a degree that they never even use, and then they try to build it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that there's tons of value here. So just go use the free value, if you think it's
Yeah, we're,
overpriced.
we're trying to teach you a skill set here, right?
Yeah.
And once you learn that skill set, you can make thousands of dollars because we both have doing just understanding how to read a Kiba chart and understanding the intrinsic value of a book, and which those 30 videos does that for you. And it's all on YouTube for free. So go and watch those videos. And then once you have that knowledge and you actually get some sales under your belt, then come to BookMine and realize how amazing it is.
Yep. Sounds good. Hope you all enjoyed the video. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye.